Hello, my name is Maria Quintanilla. I'm a New York City World Languages high school teacher. And in today's video, we are going to talk about linguistic diversity in the Spanish language. But what is linguistic diversity? In a few words, it just means diversity and differences in the language. People who speak the same language, but use different ways to say things. And this could be for many reasons. It could be because of geography, family, friends, etc. A number of things. As you know, we live in a multilingual world with many spoken languages, dialects, and sign languages, many with millions of speakers and others with a few speakers. But no matter how big or small a language is, it is still capable of expressing and communicating with other people in infinite ways, depending on where people live. Spanish is one of those languages. It is spoken by millions of native speakers across many countries and continents. Millions speak it as a second language, and a few millions are studying it as a second or third language, like maybe some of you. Spanish is the fourth most spoken language in the world after English, Mandarin, and Hindi. It is one of the official languages in the United Nations, and it's also one of the official languages in the European Union. Outside of Spain, Spanish is the official language in many South American countries. It is also spoken in some regions of Africa. It is one of the official languages of Equatorial Guinea, and it's also spoken in some regions of Morocco. Spanish is widely spoken in California, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Southern Florida, and in our awesome global city, the city of New York. You may be surprised to find out that there isn't a standard Spanish, one uniform way of speaking Spanish. Since Spanish is spoken in 19 separate countries and Puerto Rico, plus the regions we just mentioned, each region may have different ways of expressing their Spanish. And that's okay. This diversity, this linguistic diversity, makes Spanish exciting because even I learn something new every day about the language, leading me to think that there isn't really bad or wrong Spanish, just different ways to say things in Spanish. For formal essays, for example, your teacher may provide you with a list of words and phrases to help you out. Let's go over a few variants of Spanish, a few linguistic diversity in Spanish. You might have heard of Castilian Spanish. It's the Spanish that we hear mostly in Spain. Then there is Latin American Spanish. And even Latin American Spanish may not have one standard way of speaking because each country may have different ways of saying things in Spanish. Also, they may be influenced by indigenous dialects such as Quechua or Nahuatl, and they incorporate those dialects into their Spanish, therefore transforming their Spanish. There is also trade winds Spanish. It's the Spanish we hear in the Caribbean, the southern part of Spain, some coastal areas in Latin America. And this Spanish is characterized by dropping the word's last S. Then there's Italian influenced Spanish, mainly in Argentina and Uruguay. In this case, the sound for the double L or the sound for the Y may change a little. For example, my last name is Quintanilla with a double L. Well, in Argentina and Uruguay, it may sound like Quintanilla. That double L, that y sound changes into sha in some cases. Also, instead of hearing yo soy or yo soy, you may hear that sh sound, yo soy. Yo soy Maria Quintanilla. And there is also Spanglish. Yes, we said Spanglish. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Depending on where your teacher is from, or where his or her family is from, or where he or she learned Spanish, that's the Spanish you may hear and speak in the classroom. You may also have classmates that speak a different variation of Spanish. But what if you visit a place where they speak a different variation of Spanish than what your teacher taught you? What if you meet a friend who speaks a different variation of Spanish? This video will attempt to clarify just a few examples of diversity in the Spanish language, the language itself, and it is meant for all of us to keep an open mind about Spanish. Here are a few examples of linguistic diversity in the Spanish language. Vos versus tú. You may be surprised to find out that in some countries, people refer to each other as vos and not as tú. Yo, por ejemplo, soy de El Salvador y yo hablo de vos con mi familia y algunas veces con mis estudiantes. ¿Y vos? ¿De dónde sos? ¿Y vos? ¿De dónde sos? Maybe you don't recognize this phrase, but maybe you do. But most of us also know this phrase or this question as ¿Y tú? ¿De dónde eres? It is the same question, but we say it in different ways. Let's go over a few more examples of this linguistic diversity in the language. For example, the word pen. Maybe you know it as pluma. Maybe you know it as lapicero. Maybe you know it as lapicera. In some parts of Argentina, they say lapicera. Or maybe you know it as bolígrafo, boli for short. Or maybe you may even know it as esfero, short for esferográfico. Look at this diversity in the language. How about the word grocery store? You may be surprised to find out that in different parts of Latin America, some people may know it as bodega. Some people may not know it as bodega, but they may know it as colmado. And some other Spanish speakers may know it as simply as la tienda. How about the bus? Some people, some Spanish speakers may call it la guagua. Some Spanish speakers may just say autobús. And some people may call it colectivo. These are just a few examples. There's pecera, there's just bus, many other ways. Take a look at the word soda. In some countries, some Spanish-speaking countries, you may hear the word gaseosa or refresco. And refresco may mean something else in some other countries, some Spanish-speaking countries. And you may also hear some Spanish-speaking people say la soda. That's Spanglish. You may hear that. Here are some other examples. For example, good morning. When I visited Buenos Aires, I was really surprised that people were saying to me, buen día, instead of buenos días. I grew up saying buenos días. I was taught to say buenos días, but going to Buenos Aires, nobody said buenos días to me. They said buen día. But they did understand me when I said buenos días back. How about sneakers? Those are tenis. But in Argentina, in some parts of Argentina, they also say zapatí. And what did I tell you about that double L sound in Buenos Aires and in Argentina and Uruguay? Zapatillas. Zapatillas. Those are sneakers. How about orange juice? Same thing. I grew up saying jugo de naranja. I was taught to say jugo de naranja. visit Madrid in Spain, and what do they say instead of jugo de naranja? Zumo de naranja. Just another variation of the language. How about subway here in New York City? In some countries, it could just be el metro, right? In Spain is el metro. In Mexico, they say el metro. My friends in Buenos Aires say el subte. And you may hear some Spanish speakers say el subway. And that's okay. You don't have to remember every example, but you do have to keep an open mind. And remember that all forms of Spanish are authentic because there is a group of people that use them. This is social language. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this video entertaining and useful. I hope you learned something new. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Nos vemos pronto.